business reports were neatly stacked on Samuel Hammond's desk in his well-furnished study. The solitary table lamp cast a warm glow over the room. It was quiet. The flames from the log fire flickered in the broad hearth. There was an atmosphere of quiet contentment. This, one felt, must be the home of a well-educated, civilized man of sober habits. A home where peace always reigned. And then...
No!
The silence was shattered by a terrible scream and a crash. Seconds later, the door to the study burst open. Samuel Hammond rushed in, slammed the heavy door behind him, and began piling furniture against it, barricading himself in.
Got to keep him out. Got to.
The Avengers. John Steed and Emma Peel, The Avengers.
Episode 1 of this story, in which John Steed and Emma Peel start their investigations into the strange case of a deadly gift. Samuel Hammond, a large man in his mid-50s, had the demeanor of an ex-army officer, and normally his training made him a disciplined, thoughtful man who rarely panicked. But that evening in his study, all calmness was thrown to the winds. He worked like a madman, piling everything he could lay his hands on, a low settee, tables and chairs, in front of the heavy door. When he'd built an effective barricade, he paused and listened.
Nothing at all. He's gone away.
He mopped his wet forehead with a spotlessly white handkerchief and moved towards the desk, reaching out for the telephone.
I must get help. I must.
His nervous fingers drummed the polished wood of the desk as he waited for the call to be answered. He picked up an unusually shaped fountain pen and tapped anxiously.
Oh, come on.
There was no reply. And then another sound became audible, the sound of enormous, clumping footsteps. Hammond dropped the phone back into its cradle. He reached for a large shotgun on the wall. He opened the desk drawer with trembling fingers, found 2 shells which he loaded into the gun, and briskly snapped the barrel back into place. The footsteps, which had got louder, didn't stop at the door. They broke through it, pushing aside all the furniture as though it wasn't there.
No!
Hammond raised the shotgun and emptied both barrels at the enormous figure of a man who appeared through the wreckage. The figure stopped in front of the desk. There was a curious whip-like sound as it raised one arm and brought it down on Hammond. The shotgun fell to the carpet. The metallic barrel twisted into a curved loop like a piece of soft wire. In John Steed's apartment, Mrs. Peel sat staring pensively at 2 small interlocking pieces of metal. They lay on a green baize card table. They represented one of those irritating puzzles which, if you get the right combination of moves, can be parted with the greatest of ease. If you don't get the right movements, they become even more twisted into each other until you either throw the puzzle across the room and go quietly mad, or carry on for another futile hour or so. John Steed approached.
Thinking it out first, Mrs. Peel?
I've tried everything. It isn't possible, Steed.
I've moved through all the permutations, and it isn't possible to separate those two pieces of metal.
Want a bet?
You think you can?
I can make you believe I have, to create the illusion.
Oh, stop talking in riddles.
Well, we're talking in puzzles, much the same thing. Want to place that bet?
You're on. The usual? Champagne supper on me if you can do it.
Steed picked up the two pieces of metal. He held the end of each in either hand, and with a flamboyant gesture, which would have done credit to a professional conjurer, threw his arms into the air. Seconds later, two pieces of metal landed on the green cloth table.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Now you see it, now you don't. It's a question of know-how. Oh, excuse me. Steed? Oh, yes, Mother. No, she's here. Yes, I see. Yes, very well. Can you give me that address again?
Steed drew a fountain pen from his pocket.
Yes, I've got that. Right. Yes, we'll report. Bye.
Mother?
Yes. Work. Come on, Mrs. Peel. Let's leave the playthings and get down to business.
Right. But can you explain how you did that trick?
Give away a free champagne supper. Oh, very well.
Steed slipped a hand into his cuff and produced the original pieces of metal firmly welded together. He threw them onto the table alongside the separated pieces.
Steed, you cheated.
Ever since Eton, life itself is an illusion, Mrs. Peel. Shall we go?
In the study of Samuel Hammond's house, John Steed prodded with the end of his umbrella at the broken hinge of the heavy door. He moved about the room, taking in every detail with a professional air. The body of Samuel Hammond had been removed, but the twisted shotgun still lay on the desk.
Interesting, isn't it, Mrs. Peel?
What on earth is it?
Shotgun. Rather unique. Wherever you aim, you hit the chandelier.
I thought you might like to check on Mother's files. Should I recap?
Please do.
First victim, Walter Carlson, found dead in his apartment on the 5th, fractured skull. Number 2, Andrew Denham in his penthouse on the 6th, fractured skull. And last night, Samuel Hammond...
Don't tell me. Fractured skull?
Broken neck.
Oh, sorry.
Well, here's the list of their holdings. Carlson was chairman of commercial imports, Denham head of auto engineering, and Hammond on the board of electrical industries.
All the way up in the top bracket.
Where the vultures gather.
Meaning?
Well, it's difficult to reach the top without making enemies. Could it be revenge? Some hired assassin?
No. No, professional killers don't use a battering ram to get to their victims. Whoever came through that door was in a wild frenzy.
I suppose Hammond wasn't expecting anyone. Seen an appointment book?
Well, there is a desk diary, but at the time of death one wouldn't have expected a visitor. At least, not that type of visitor. There's a note down here, Harachi, 2:30. No other interest.
Well, it looks like a dead end. Correction, 3 dead ends.
Yes, it makes one wonder if there'll be a fourth, doesn't it?
At the entrance of the block of buildings marked Administration Industrial Developments Limited, Great Britain, the security guard, who was quietly dozing on duty, heard a very distinctive sound. He shook the sleep from his head with a sudden gesture, wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, and gathered his thoughts. The sound approached.
Hey, you! Who are you?
The footsteps grew louder. Lumbering along the corridor appeared the figure of an enormous man. His black coat was flapping behind him, his shoulders massive, the black trilby hat pulled down low over his eyes. His hands, hanging stiffly at his sides, were contained in black silk gloves.
Stop! Stop! Do you hear me?
The figure advanced without varying its pace. It approached the guard and... The noise didn't penetrate to the inner office, where Lambert, a well-groomed, high-powered executive, was talking on the telephone.
Have you got that figure, Miss Forbes?
Yes, Mr. Lambert. How's the Harachi deal?
Well, I'm seeing their representative this afternoon. Excuse me a moment. The other phone's ringing. Lambert? What? Well, why call me? You've got a dozen men in security. Now, don't bother me again. You still there, Miss Forbes?
Yes, indeed, sir. What seems to be the trouble, Mr. Lambert?
That was security. It seems that someone has got in without a pass. Nothing to do with us. Now, look here. About that estimate. I want the whole cost of the first quarter. And what the devil? Hold on a moment, Miss Forbes.
What is it? What is it, Mr. Lambert?
Just hold on.
Lambert pushed back his chair and stood up, heading for the door. But before he got there, a gloved fist crashed through the wooden panel. Lambert reacted by rushing to the desk and opening a drawer. He grabbed a revolver and pointed it at the enormous figure that burst through the door.
Who are you? What do you want? Keep away, all right?
Lambert emptied the entire barrel at the advancing figure. It continued relentlessly, stopped in front of Lambert.
No! No!
Mr. Lambert! Mr. Lambert, what's happened? Are you all right? What is it, Mr. Lambert? Can you hear me, Mr. Lambert? Mr. Lambert!
Some hours later, John Steed and Emma Peel arrived on the scene. Steed walked through the broken doorway.
Extraordinary. Much easier to have just used the handle.
The guy who was knocked out said the man was enormously big.
And he was bulletproof, too. Look,
Steed picked up 2 blunt-nosed bullets from the carpet.
these bullets must have been fired at point-blank range. They merely flattened themselves on the target. A bulletproof man, and he got victim number 4. Adds to the confusion a bit, doesn't it, Mrs. Peel?
The Avengers. Listen every evening, Monday to Friday, to John Steed and Emma Peel, The Avengers. Brought to you by the makers of Cold Water Omo. The Avengers. Donald Monat as John Steed and Diane Appleby as Emma Peel is adapted and directed by Dennis Falbig and produced by David Gooden.
Episode 2 of this story, in which John Steed and Emma Peel tangle with some Japanese wrestlers and realize that the skill of karate can be a deadly gift. Mother had given Steed and Mrs. Peel the task of investigating the mysterious deaths of Walter Carson, Andrew Denham, and Samuel Hammond. All had been killed violently by a vicious blow to the head. All had been very important businessmen, heads of commercial and engineering companies. And now there was a 4th death, James Lambert, whose body lay on the carpet covered by a sheet. John Steed threw the 2 flattened bullets down on the desk and looked around him.
Nasty. You say that Lambert was on the telephone when all this took place?
Yes, that's right. Miss Forbes, company secretary. She heard it all. The crashing as the door was broken down, Lambert's screams, the revolver shots, and then a curious whip-like sound.
Whip-like?
Well, that's what she said. After that, Lambert groaned and the line went dead.
Well, let's see what the papers on the desk have got to offer. Looks like the usual business stuff. In tray, out tray. What's this? Mrs. Peel, you remember Samuel Hammond's diary? He had an appointment with some business people called Hirachi, didn't he?
That's right. They're a Japanese electronics firm.
He must have done business for them, and so did Lambert. Look.
Mrs. Peel took a letter from Steed and read,
Honorable gentlemen, our representative, Mr. Tosomo, will be in your capital, London City, on the 12th. Would you kindly lift the telephone for the appointment? We remain obediently and faithfully, etc., on behalf of Hirachi Corporation, etc., etc. Well, isn't that nicely worded?
Well, it would appear that Mr. Lambert did lift the telephone. He made an appointment for 3 o'clock.
Now, let me think. Hirachi were in the news a few weeks back, weren't they? They've developed some new circuit element to replace the transistor.
Really?
Well, it could revolutionize the electronics industry. Lambert may have been competing for the European concession.
Steed moved over to the sheet which covered the body and lifted it with the end of his umbrella.
Well, this honourable gentleman's out of the race now. It's difficult to compete with a broken neck.
Mrs. Peel moved forward and looked down at the body.
1 second, Steed. Look at the position of his head. He's been hit from the front, yet there's not the slightest bruise on his face.
Conclusion?
Honourable Lady, conclusion?
Yinko.
I beg your pardon?
Yinko.
Honourable Lady, mind translating for ignorant gentlemen?
My Japanese is a bit rusty.
It's a blow from the deadly art of karate, delivered by an expert. Breaks the neck easier than a hangman's noose.
Oh, were there many experts around?
Just a few. Barely a handful in the whole of this country.
Then we'd better consult one of them, hadn't we?
Characteristically, John Steed handed the assignment over to Mrs. Peel, and she, also characteristically, followed through with efficiency, finding herself in the corridor of Sensei's Karate Dojo Gymnasium. She approached a beaded curtain, parted it, and entered the practice room as Sensei himself refereed a bout. Mrs. Peel walked up to the practice mat and tapped Sensei on the shoulder.
I'm Emma Peel. Mrs. Emma Peel.
Wait. Yes, I'm in. Yes, I'm in. Now, interrupting so, please state your business. Mrs.
Peel, I'm interested in karate.
Interest is for the onlooker. From students, we require dedication. We have nightly attendance for practice and demonstration. We never tolerate absentees.
Well, I appreciate that.
Then appreciate, too, Mrs. Peel, that karate, unlike judo, is not a sport. It is a science, an art, a discipline. The word karate...
Yes, I know. It means empty hands.
But the hands, though empty, can become more deadly than any weapon. It is the concentration of force. Like this. The development of skill and courage. Nothing can stop it. Come to this practice block.
Sensei led Mrs. Peel across to a large block of wood. With shattering force, he brought his fist down upon it. Mrs. Peel winced. Sensei smiled and flexed his fingers as though he'd been patting a feather pillow.
Some of my students can split a roof tile with one finger, and one, whom we call Oyama, the tall mountain, can shatter a door with a single stroke.
How interesting.
So you see that it is difficult for a woman to compete in such company.
It's the idea of the competition that appeals to me.
Then I suggest that perhaps fencing would be more suitable to your purpose.
Oh, forgive me if I disagree, Mr.
Here I am known as Sensei, the knowledgeable one.
Sensei gave Mrs. Peel a curt bow and clapped his hands. From the far end of the room, a white-clad figure appeared. It was a woman dressed in practice robes. She moved swiftly and silently towards them.
This is Oyuka.
And Oyuka means?
The immovable one. Oyuka, this is Mrs. Emma Peel.
How do you do?
Mrs. Peel is leaving us now.
Oh, what a pity. I'm interested to know that you don't encourage women. Presumably Oyuka is an expert in karate?
I am a third dan at judo.
Oh.
A first at karate. There are few men who could pass me if I didn't wish them to.
And few women?
No other women.
Oh, to me that sounds just the teeny-weeniest bit like a challenge.
I should not try it, Obaki.
Obaki?
It means foolish one.
Mrs. Peel is invited to try.
I've never been able to resist a straight fight.
Mrs. Peel placed her handbag on a nearby stool and took a step to the left to pass Oyuka. Oyuka made a simple karate attack. Mrs. Peel countered with a judo defense and attack. Oyuka drew back her left arm and with palm uppermost thrust her hand out to land a blow beneath Mrs. Peel's nose. Mrs. Peel grabbed Oyuka's wrist from above with her left hand, swinging it back. Oyuka doubled up. Mrs. Peel brought her right hand down firmly on Oyuka's neck. Mrs. Peel sidestepped, got a firm hold of Oyuka, and threw her through the Japanese screen.
You fool, Oyuka. You attacked her as a woman. But she has the skill of a man. A bad mistake, Oyuka.
Oyuka, the immovable one. You should rename her, I think. What's Japanese for amateur? Anyone know?
While Mrs. Peel was brushing up on her karate, John Steed was paying a visit to the Hirachi Corporation. He walked swiftly into the main entrance, nonchalantly swinging his umbrella. At the reception desk, he raised his bowler politely and addressed the secretary.
Excuse me. I represent industrial development.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Tusama is expecting me. 3 o'clock appointment?
Oh, yes. Please be seated, Mr. Lambert.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not Mr. Lambert. John Steed. Mr. Lambert is regrettably indisposed.
You have a letter of authority, then?
Oh, yes, indeed. Here we are.
The young lady read the letter quietly, picked up the phone, and made a brief call.
Mr. Tusama?
Yes?
Mr. Lambert is indisposed. Mr. John Steed is here from Industrial Development.
Please, ask him to come in.
You may go in, Mr. Steed.
Steed looked around him at the many screens of the reception room.
The door is the glass panel with the black dragon on it, Mr. Steed.
Oh, yes, of course. I suppose I should have guessed. Thank you.
Mr. Steed. Do come in. Pleased to be seated.
Thank you.
You will forgive briefness of meeting. Time is short and there are many representatives.
Oh, I do understand.
You are acquainted with our recent development?
Well, I'm aware that you've produced a new circuit element to replace the transistor, and I'm here to negotiate the rights for concession.
This heralds a new age, Mr. Steed. Computers no bigger than a matchbox. Pocket television. Radio smaller than a wristwatch.
You have a worldwide patent?
Hardly necessary. The manufacture of the element is complex and would require capital outlay of 50 millions. 10 years before we have a competitor.
So the concession will go to whichever company offers you the largest slice of profit. I suppose it's pointless to ask what offers you had already.
Regret that other competitors cannot be disclosed.
Well, naturally I shall have to consult my board, but I'm sure our offer will be favorable. Of course, we can't compete with your production facilities. May I look at these photographs of your plant on the walls?
Of course. Allow me to explain them.
While Tusamo was giving facts and figures with his back turned to the desk, Steed quickly flipped open a folder containing a list of competitors. He then raised his umbrella. The handle swung back and revealed a miniature camera. The shutter moved silently. Smart work, Steed.
Yes?
Your next appointment is here, Mr. Tusamo.
Thank you. Mr. Steed is just leaving.
Well, you'll be hearing from us shortly, Mr. Tusamo. Goodbye.
Thank you. This way out, please. Goodbye.
Tusamo turned to the glass-fronted door on the other side of the wall. Footsteps were heard approaching. Framed against the glass was the shadow of an enormous man, at least 7 feet tall. Just got out in time, didn't you, Steve?
You've got people coming, and you want your kitchen to look specially clean. But is everything really clean? Not only where people notice, but in those hard-to-reach cracks and crevices like around the sink. That's the sort of dirt that's hardest to shift if you don't have Vim 99. Only Vim has deep cleaning bleach to get right down into cracks and deep-set stains, leaving everything really clean and germ-free. For total cleanness you can trust, use Vim. Vim 99, the strong one.
They say once an Omo user, always an Omo user. Here's Mrs. Senior of Mbogantwini.
I've stuck to cold water, Irma, and I'm still using it. It's the strongest washing powder I've used.
There's no dirt or stains that can stand up to cold water Omo.
The Avengers.
Listen every evening, Monday to Friday, to John Steed and Emma Peel, The Avengers. Brought to you by the makers of Cold Water Omo. The Avengers. Donald Monat as John Steed and Diane Appleby as Emma Peel is adapted and directed by Dennis Falbig and produced by David Gooden. Now, from the makers of Cold Water Omo,
John Steed, in the office of the Hirachi Corporation, appeared to be very interested in what Tusamo, the Japanese manager, was saying about his business concern.
Our research division was established in 1960 to produce an inexpensive record player. That was just the start. Most successful, very high profit, enabled us to extend. Look, the photographs here on the wall.
While Tusamo turned with his back to the desk, Steed quickly whipped open the folder that contained the list of all the competitors and snapped open the handle of his umbrella. Inside was a miniature camera. The shutter moved silently.
Yes?
Your next appointment is here, Mr. Tusamo.
Thank you. Mr. Steed is just leaving.
Well, you'll be hearing from me shortly. Goodbye.
This way out, please, Mr. Steed.
Steed left the office by the other door. As he did so, Tusamo heard the sound of footsteps. The shadow of an enormous man became outlined against the glass panel, filling the entire doorway. Tusamo didn't even look up as the door slowly opened.
The Avengers.
John Steed and Emma Peel, The Avengers.
So many women say, once an Omo user, always an Omo user, because there's just no dirt that can stand up to the cleaning power of cold water Omo. It solves Mrs. Sutherland's washing problems for her.
Very dirty oil or grease marks. If you use cold water Omo, there's no trouble at all. It comes out very, very easily indeed.
There's no washing problem too difficult for cold water Omo. Over 1 million South African housewives have proved it.
Lux is the beauty soap chosen by beautiful film stars around the world. They choose Lux for its rich, moisturizing lather. Lux, a beauty treatment as you bathe.
Episode 3 of this story, in which John Steed and Emma Peel meet several more disturbing characters who all seem to possess a deadly gift. John Steed and Emma Peel could only proceed on the little evidence they had in this rather curious case. 4 men had died, and each in very similar circumstances, all with either fractured skulls or broken necks. To Mrs. Peel, it looked like the work of one man, a superb karate expert. She'd investigated several judo and karate studios in London. The most interesting one was Sensei's gymnasium. Her brief encounter there with Oyuka, the immovable one, a woman expert, had proved quite satisfying. Mrs. Peel's performance had certainly qualified her for membership. She permitted herself a grin of pleasure as she recalled the amazed look on Oyuka's face as she picked herself up, having been thrown through some Japanese screens. Perhaps the look still showed on Mrs. Peel's face when she turned up at Steed's apartment.
Swallow the cream, Mrs. Peel.
What's that, Steve?
Well, you look positively smug.
Not really. Just a petty minor triumph. Bigger things to come, I hope. How are things with you?
Well, come into the kitchen, I'll show you.
Steed led the way into his kitchen. There, on the draining board, was a photographic enlarger and a recently developed print. Steed picked it out of the fixing solution and washed it under the tap. drawing it on some blotting paper.
Interesting. A list of names and firms.
All in competition for the rights of concession to Mr. Tusama's business at the Harachi Corporation. I interviewed the said honourable gentleman earlier, or rather he interviewed me, and the concession goes to whatever firm offers the largest profits. He was cagey and wouldn't say what offers he'd had.
We have a saying, Mr. Steed, in darkness, ceiling is always higher.
So you had to pinch the information. How'd you do it?
Well, as Tusama might say,
we have a proverb, he who talks too much forgets his listener.
Now that's not Confucius.
All right, you are. John Steed, actually. How did you get on with the karate mob?
Oh, I made out all right. Still soon to be having to find a Japanese name for me. I'm learning fast.
Going through with it?
Mm-hmm.
How often do they get together?
Nightly.
Is there a list of members?
Well, that wouldn't help. They all have these wretched pseudonyms. I dealt with Oyoka, the immovable one, who was quickly removed. I can't wait to meet Oyama, the tall mountain.
Oh, come now, Mrs. B. What's he got that I haven't?
A hobby.
You mean photography, like this?
No, splitting down doors, like this.
Destructive.
Steed finished drawing the photographic print and pursed his lips with interest.
Well, now, isn't that interesting?
Let me see. 2:15 p.m. commercial imports, 2:30 p.m. electrical industries, 2:45 p.m. United Automation, 3 p.m. industrial developments, 3:15 p.m. Jeffcoat Products Limited, 3:30 auto engineering.
Yes, and victim number one was Carlson, negotiator for commercial imports, 2 Denham, auto engineering, 3 Hammond, electrical industries, 4 Lambert, industrial developments. As they say, a parliament.
But if you kill off one negotiator, they replace him with another.
No, it's not so easy. There's a lot of paperwork, meetings, discussions, and Tusana's only in London for 36 hours.
Let me see that list again.
We're left with Jeffcoat Products and United Automation. Any preference, Mrs. P?
I think I'll take Jeffcoat Products. It doesn't sound so automatic as United Automation, does it, Steve?
Later, in the small showroom of Jeffcoat Products, Mrs. Peel watched with fascination and amusement various toys on a table.
How cute. How very, very cute. Everyone's too amused at that particular model,
Mrs. Emma Peel.
Ah, yes, Mrs. Peel. So pleased to meet you.
Thank you. What are these retailers?
£4. Our terms are very favourable with orders above a gross.
Well, I'm certainly taken with all the range, but I would like a word with Mr. Jeffcoat.
Ah, and how lucky you are. For here he is now.
How do you do? How do you do? Sorry if I've kept you.
Mrs. Emma Peel, Mr. Jeffcoat. If you'll just excuse me now.
Yes, of course.
Ah, now, Mrs. Peel. I gather that you represent the Gorringer store.
Yes. We just opened a toy department.
Well, I'm sure we can find plenty to interest you. We've no equals in the field of electronic toys. These, for instance. Oh, here's something we're all very proud of.
Jeffcoat bent down and lifted a small woolly dog and placed it on the table.
It comes when it's cold. Go on, try it.
Oh, all right. Here, boy. Come here. It works. It's walking towards me. How marvelous.
Of course, novelties are only a fraction of our business. We produce everything from tea makers to radar equipment. And with the new advance in electronics, we've lots more ideas on the drawing board.
Have you got a catalogue?
Yes, I brought you one. Here you are. And now will you excuse me? I'm awfully sorry, but I'm afraid I have an appointment.
Oh, not to worry, because, curiously enough, so have I.
I hope we shall see you again.
Oh, I'm sure you will, Mr. Jeffcoat. I'm sure you will.
What Mrs. Peel and Mr. Jeffcoat didn't tell each other was what their respective appointments were. Mrs. Peel's was to go off to a routine practice at the karate school. She bowed politely to Oyuka, who attempted a withering look, quite lost on Mrs. Peel, and changed into her practice things, taking up her position in the line with the rest of the students. Sensei made an announcement.
And now, a demonstration of Tanashawari by a student of whom I am truly proud. A 5th dan at judo, a 4th dan at karate. Oyama is an example of what can be achieved through practice and dedication.
As a gong echoed throughout the lighted area, Oyuka moved forward, carrying a large 18-inch block of hard wood. She took a firm stance and with both hands held out the wood before her.
I give you Oyama.
Mrs. Peel peered across the shoulders of the surrounding students, looking into the demonstration area. The large figure of a man in traditional robes entered under the lights. He drew back his arm and struck with tremendous force. The man slowly turned and faced his audience. He smiled. It was Jeffcott. Episode 4 of this story, in which John Steed and Emma Peel continue their investigations, and Steed receives a deadly gift. John Steed took himself off to the offices of United Automation. He had consulted Roger Gilbert, a forthright and friendly scientist and administrator, who had given him the full background on Dr. Armstrong, who managed the firm. Dr. Armstrong was an ex-ministry man and something of an inventor. From what he'd been told, Steed formed the hunch that Armstrong was all-important and connected with the deaths of the 4 men who appeared to have been chopped down by a karate expert. Steed was looking forward to the meeting. The offices of United Automation seemed deserted. There was no reception desk, no one on duty. Steed walked across to what appeared to be a clocking-in device. A small notice read,
"Insert your appointment card here." Well, with pleasure.
Part of the wall slid away, and Steed found himself facing an open lift. An automatic voice said,
Enter the lift, please.
Steed looked around with interest. The lift was lined with padded leather and included rows of buttons, with one marked Assembly Shop. Steed was tempted to push the button, but before he could make up his mind, the lift stopped. The doors slid back and revealed a library. Books lined 3 walls from floor to ceiling. The 4th wall consisted of a large electronic computer, impressively arrayed with complex dials and indicators. Above the desk of the computer was a wide radar scanning screen and 2 television monitoring screens. As Steed moved over to these with a great deal of interest, the door near the computer opened. Dr. Armstrong entered in a special automatic chair, which carried him swiftly the length of the room and stopped behind a large desk.
Mr. Steed?
Yes, Dr. Armstrong.
Please stay where you are. My infirmity in no way impedes my activity.
Armstrong made a few adjustments to dials on the armrest of the chair. The chair slid neatly forward and came to rest in front of Steed. Armstrong extended an arm from under a travelling rug and proffered a fleshy hand.
How do you do? I'm afraid we'll have to be brief, but please sit down.
Steed looked around for something to sit on. A leather chair suddenly appeared from the floor.
This is the age of the push button, Mr. Steed. My factory is entirely automated.
Well, the appointment card is rather neat, but couldn't it be duplicated?
It's recoded for every visitor.
You've no staff at all?
Only for maintenance and for sales. As a journalist, you'll appreciate that we human beings are, well, fallible, temperamental, and so often unreliable. But a machine, such as this chair, however, is obedient and invariably more competent.
Machines do go wrong.
No, indeed. So one builds each circuit in triplicate. Failure can be rectified automatically without the risk of, shall we say, hemorrhage or surgery. A perfect, trouble-free labor force available at one's fingertips, as you can see.
Armstrong's pudgy fingers lifted the arm of Steed's chair, revealing a set of controls. He pressed various buttons.
Security. Steel shutters over the doors. Efficiency. Comfort.
Lights glowed from above, cold air swept into the room.
And relaxation. Very restful. But that music wasn't composed by a computer. It will be, in time. We've machines that not only work, they think. Come to the computer. I take this punch card. It is programmed for a complex equation. We drop it in and press a button. There, the answer.
Steed gazed down at the strip of undecipherable punch tape that gushed from the computer.
I'll take your word for it. Correctly programmed, the machine could answer all questions on finance, science, and even military or political matters. It could supplant the human brain entirely. Is that for publication? I'm theorizing, of course. The problem is size. But with the development of new circuit elements, it can only be a matter of... excuse me. Of course.
Steed got up and moved down the computer as Armstrong picked up a small internal telephone.
Yes?
I have the information.
Go on.
An offer is expected from Industrial Developments.
Lambert is dead. They've no one else to negotiate.
Someone else has turned up. A man called Steed. John Steed.
What? Turn on your TV scanner. Is this the man in the room with me now?
Yes. That's the one that followed me in. That's him.
Right. Leave this to me. I'll see you in a moment. Well, Mr. Steed, I hope this has been of interest.
Oh, it has indeed.
Well, I never let my visitors leave empty-handed. Here, a pen.
Armstrong held out to Steed a distinctively shaped fountain pen.
We hope to market these very shortly. A solid ink. Solid. The temperature of the hand electronically feeds a stream of carbon particles into the nib, emitted only on contact. Cannot leak or dry out. Refilled once in 10 years.
The felt pen manufacturer's going to love you.
You accept the gift?
Of course, thank you. It's been a most informative visit, Doctor.
My pleasure, Mr. Steed. You'll find the lifts are open. Goodbye.
After Steed had left, the other door opened and Benson entered.
What was he doing here, Doctor?
Snooping, undoubtedly.
Well, why let him go?
Benson, you're employed to take orders, not to give them. I may be confined to this chair, but I'm quite capable of dealing with Mr. Steed. But first we've got someone else to deal with. Prepare for target assignment at once.
In the office of Jeffcott Products, Jeffcott himself was also on the telephone. He was making a few notes on a pad as he spoke, using a very distinctively shaped fountain pen.
Yes? Yes, fine. Yes, I've got all that. That'll be okay. Goodbye.
Jeffcott replaced the telephone and leaned back in the chair, toying with the pen. Then he rose to his feet, slipped the pen into his top pocket, switched off the table lamp and prepared to leave. Outside, in Emma Peel's car, Steed said,
"He's taking his time."
That light went off some minutes ago.
No other exit?
Well, there's the warehouse, but his car's parked out front.
Let's go and have a look inside, shall we, Mrs. Peel?
Well, there's no future in this. How do we get in, though? Knock on the door or break in?
Keys, Mrs. Peel, keys. All locks are illusionary. Remember my sleight of hand? Come on.
A few minutes later, Steed was working on the front door.
If it's bolted from the inside, that's not going to do you a great deal of good.
He hasn't come out. It's reasonable to assume that it's just on this one lock. There we are. After you, Mrs. Peel, you know the layout.
Thank you. Better try without any light. The passageway here leads down to the showroom. Most of the front section is given over to electronic toys. This way.
I wonder how much of this toy business is genuine. How much is a cover for other activities?
Well, toys and karate don't seem to go together. What do they?
Jeff Cott is a man of many interests and...
Steed, who had been following Mrs. Peel through the darkened showroom, had been careful not to disturb any of the toys, but he tripped. His foot shot out and hit a large doll, knocking it over.
I love you. I love you. I really do.
Oh, Steed, you never told me before in so many words.
Devil, just shut the thing up.
Let me do it. Only girls should play with dolls. Here, give it to me.
Oh, very effective.
Come on, but be careful this time. We could have disturbed...
Wait, listen. Listen. Wait. Light.
Over there, Steed.
Mrs. Peel pointed at Jeffcott's legs protruding from the back of the desk. Steed moved over, swinging the desk lamp downwards.
Looks as though he's been hit by a 5-ton truck.
But who could... I mean, he was a karate expert.
Well, apparently not expert enough.
Steed, look at that wall.
They both stared at the far wall. There was a large splintered gap in the wooden partition leading to the warehouse. It was exactly as though a man of at least 7 feet tall had walked straight through it. King-sized karate, Steve?
Now, from the makers of cold water Omo...
Through here, Mr. Peel, this way. Wait. Light.
Over there, Steed.
Mrs. Peel and John Steed, snooping around Jeffcott products, burst into Jeffcott's office. Steed following Mrs. Peel's pointing finger. Jeffcott's legs were protruding from the end of the desk. Steed moved over, swinging the table lamp downwards.
Phew. He looks as though he's been hit by a 5-ton truck.
But who... I mean, he was a karate expert.
Not expert enough, it seems.
Steed, look at that far wall.
They both stared at the far wall. There was a large, splintered gap in the wooden partition leading to the warehouse. It was exactly as though a man of at least 7 feet tall had walked straight through it. Episode 5 of this story, in which Emma Peel is placed in danger and John Steed discovers the horrible truth about a deadly gift. John Steed and Emma Peel were investigating the deaths of various businessmen who were competing to obtain a concession from the Harachi Corporation. 4 men, all key representatives, had been brutally killed by an unknown assailant. And now Jeffcott of Jeffcott Products had also met a nasty end. His neck appeared to have been broken by one blow. John Steed moved to the shattered partition leading into the warehouse and stood in the opening. The man-shaped gap quite dwarfed him. He stretched around in the opening with his umbrella.
Well, whoever he was, he could hardly be called Shorty.
Emma Peel joined him in the opening.
Yes, in through here.
And exit for Mr. Jeffcott. And that leaves a clear field for Dr. Armstrong's concern. It must be his doing.
Yes, but if it's, as you say, the worthy doctor's confined to a wheelchair, I presume the wheelchair's hardly this big.
Hardly. But he could have hired someone.
Mm-hmm, perhaps, but who? This size? And a karate expert? You know, it's strange, but all the staff at the Seaside Gymnasium are on the small side, all except Jeffcott himself, of course. I saw Jeffcott give an exhibition of karate chopping, which was quite unbelievably good. Who on earth could walk through this wall and tackle a man like that?
Who? Or what?
Pardon?
Listen.
False alarm. The sound of the electronic toys being set in motion.
Mrs. Peel, look, it's there on the floor.
A toy mechanical robot, walking slowly towards us.
Through this opening. Now, if that was 7 feet high instead of 7 inches...
Steve, you can't mean...
Dr. Armstrong runs United Automation practically single-handed. He has very few human beings on his staff because it's all computerized. He's kinky about mechanical aids and creating machines that do the job of men. Now, it could be that he has a killer machine. Nasty thought, isn't it, Mrs. Peel?
Back in Mrs. Peel's apartment later that night, John Steed was making final preparations.
What's that, Steve?
Just trimming around this punch card.
You think it'll work?
I had a feeling I'd be paying Armstrong a second visit, so I got Gilbert to produce what you might call a skeleton key. This is it. Now, here we have 2 punch cards, identical in the shape of the original, complete with perforations. How's that?
Very pretty.
Now, you hold on to this one.
Oh, no. I'm not staying here. I want to get in on the act.
It's important that you stay in contact with Sama. I'm the only one who can block Armstrong's moves. Try the Harachi Corporation. Look here, I'll give you the number.
Steed sat down at the desk, and taking the distinctively styled fountain pen from his pocket, he wrote on a pad.
Oh, that's a nice pen. What an odd shape. It's like a submarine.
Huh? Oh, there's. Yes, a wee gift from Dr. Armstrong. It only needs filling every 10 years. Solid ink or something.
Steed left the pen lying on the pad for Mrs. Peel.
It's late, Steve. What if Tasama's left the office?
Then try the big hotels. He's an important man. He must be on a hefty expense account. Being Japanese should make him easier to trade.
What story do I use?
Well, say you're my secretary from Industrial Developments, and we'll make an offer first thing tomorrow. That'll stall Armstrong for the night.
Armstrong must want that concession pretty badly if what you think is right.
Yes, but somehow I don't think it's just for profit. Now, will you stay and follow through like a good girl?
All right. But you'd better be back here by 11:30.
And if I'm not?
I shall use my punch card. That's what.
Steed used his own punch card to gain admittance to United Automation. He dropped the card in the slot by the lifts.
Enter the lift, please.
Steed wondered privately if Armstrong had any method of monitoring the lift's movements. If so, he could have a rather nasty reception waiting in the computer library. The lift stopped. Steed stepped out. The room appeared to be empty.
So far, so good. Hold it. Figure slumped in that black leather chair. Enormous figure.
Steed approached cautiously, wondering if it could be Armstrong, but the gloved hands that hung over the broad arms of the chair appeared to be lifeless. There was no sound, no movement, no sound of breathing. Steed suddenly reached for the reading lamp on the desk and flashed it on the inert figure. The hatless, indefinable face was covered with a light-coloured stockinged mask, upon which perched dark glasses.
Gotta get a better look at you, chum.
Working swiftly, Steed removed the stocking. Underneath was the stainless steel face of an automated man. Steed tapped the face with the glasses.
A robot, all right. A killer robot, maybe.
Steed replaced the stockinged mask and glasses. Nothing but a dark hat lay in the figure's lap. A sudden noise alerted Steed. He looked around for a place to hide. There wasn't any cover in this soulless, clinically neat room. Steed spotted the air-conditioning grill.
Blast. It's bound to bring someone.
Steed succeeded in getting the metal grill free and squeezing into the air shaft, closing the grill back into position just as the door opened and Armstrong in his automatic chair glided into the room.
Oh, come, Benson. No need to worry about answering that.
Is that it? In the chair, that is?
Yes, that is it. The Pabulum robot. He's quite harmless, really. That is, until programmed. Then even I can't stop him. Of course, he's only a prototype, like a child, really. But one day he'll have a brain more efficient than this computer. He'll be powered by solar energy, and that steel casing will stand the blast of an atomic shell.
He looks quite human. Uncanny.
Yes, but he travels with the accuracy of a guided missile.
How?
Let me show you. He's directed by a simple radio transmitter. Now, Steed's frequency is 0.113. Watch.
Steed, in the air-conditioning shaft, was all ears and peered out anxiously. Armstrong made an adjustment to the panel on the computer. A radar screen lit up. A small flashing light commenced to bleep upon it.
There it is. That's Steed's transmitter. The fountain pen I gave him nestling comfortably in his breast pocket.
Steed, listening at the grill, automatically felt in his pocket.
Mrs. Peel. I left the wretched thing back at the flat with Mrs. Peel.
Now, all we have to do is set the Pabulum robot switch to the same frequency.
A counter bleep could be just heard coming from the robot. It got to its feet and headed with a shuffled tread for the lift doors. Armstrong pressed the button to release the doors and said,
"So, Benson, that will be the end of Steed, and the concession will be ours."
In the air-conditioning shaft, John Steed knew he'd got to move quickly. He crawled his way along, searching for another exit grill. There wasn't one. He was trapped. In the computer library, Benson and Dr. Armstrong watched the progress of the two dots on the radar screen. When the pabulum robot reached the fountain pen transmitter, it would kill viciously. In Mrs. Peel's apartment, Emma was making a phone call, the offending fountain pen lying in front of her.
Thank you, Mr. Tosamo. I'll get Mr. Steve to phone you tomorrow morning without fail. I'm sure we can do business. Yes? Yes, I got that. 11:30. Goodbye.
Mrs. Peel replaced the telephone, picked up the pen, and made a note of the time of appointment. Then she took up the evening paper, made herself comfortable, and began using the pen to complete a crossword. The pabulum robot ploughed on. Some time later, John Steed, wandering about the tunnels of the air-conditioning unit, found himself in what appeared to be a small maintenance room. It had a door, but no handle from the inside.
Like being trapped in a meat safe. Oh, what's that?
It was a thermostat control. The fans were set to 65 degrees. Steed smiled and turned it all up to maximum. The temperature rose quickly. Later, in the computer library, Armstrong looked up from the radar scanner.
It's getting darn warm in here.
Nerves unable to stand the pace, Benson.
Oh, it isn't that. Look at the thermometer on the wall. It's over 70. It's nearly 75 now, and it's going up.
What? Must be a faulty thermostat. I'll call maintenance.
Steed, back in the maintenance room, wiped the sweat from his brow and took up a position by the closed door. A short while later, the door opened. Steed reached for a heavy spanner and was about to bring it down on the head of the man who entered when he stopped. It wasn't a man. It was a white-coated robot. Slowly, and with difficulty, Steed edged past the robot and made a quick exit down the corridor. Get going, Steed. Time ticked on. Mrs. Peel finished the crossword and looked at the clock. It was nearly 11:30. She rose, put on a warm jacket, and unconsciously slipped the fountain pen into one of the pockets. She headed for the door, down the steps and towards her car, making sure that she had the punch card in her handbag. The robot, which was about to climb the outer stairs, turned and lumbered down them again. Near thing, that, Mrs. Peel. Episode 6, the final episode of this story, in which John Steed and Emma Peel come out on top after all, and prove that the modern advance in automation can be a deadly gift. John Steed didn't know how much trouble he was letting himself in for when he accepted, as a gift, the distinctively designed fountain pen given to him by Dr. Armstrong of United Automation. For the pen was more than it was supposed to be. Inside it was a simple radio transmitter, beamed back to the computer library, where Armstrong had geared a pabulum robot to exactly the same frequency. Had the plan worked, Steed, carrying the pen, would have guided the robot towards him and been killed in much the same karate way as were the other men. But Steed had, all unwittingly, passed the pen on to Mrs. Peel, who had just had a narrow escape. Steed hadn't done all that well either. He'd been trapped in the inner workings of the air-conditioning unit and only escaped by turning up the thermostat control. Back in the main body of the building, he'd headed straight for the nearest telephone.
She said 11:30. It's just gone. Oh, come on, woman.
Too late, Steed. But in the library, Benson and Armstrong were also bemused. For on the radar scanning screen, the two dots that represented the transmitter and the robot were growing farther apart.
What's happened? The robot's lost him.
Well, that's impossible. For his movement, I agree, but it can't do anything with delay matters. It'll get him.
A door opened and a large white-coated figure lumbered in.
The maintenance robot's come to report.
The robot stopped at the computer panel and inserted a card. A moment later, from a slot in the computer, a punch tape, dotted with the minute holes of the computer's vocabulary, gushed forth.
No, Now, let me see.
Armstrong reached out, tore off the strip, and with a skilled eye immediately interpreted the tape.
What's wrong, Doctor? What is it? The thermostat was altered manually. There's an intruder in the building. What's that? Someone using the telephone in the next room. See to it, Benson.
Right. And I'll take him along, too, for good measure.
Right.
Benson drew a gun from his pocket, and Armstrong made a few adjustments to the switches in front of him. The maintenance robot followed Benson quietly to the door of the room. Watch it, Steed.
Gotta risk getting through that library and to the lift. Well, here goes.
No, you don't.
Steed stepped forward to tackle Benson, but the robot behind the door immediately reacted. It stepped forward and cut Steed down. I said, watch it, Steed.
Welcome to the land of the living, Steed. Right, keep him covered, Benson.
Don't worry, one move and he's a dead man.
You should count yourself fortunate, Mr. Steed. The Papillon robot that stands before you was programmed just to knock you out and not to kill you.
How very remiss of you. I can't wait for a return bout. It'll be a pleasure to short-circuit him once and for all. Now, let's see.
Don't move.
Oh, there another of them. Looks almost human. Oh, no, perhaps not.
What? Another crack like that now? No, do be quiet, Benson. That's the trouble with man, Mr. Steed. He's such an impulsive creature who cannot cope with crises. Today, one wrong decision, one simple error, could bring total destruction.
And I suppose you think you've got the answer, Doctor.
By all means. There, Mr. Steed, in the Papillon robot, the electronic brain. I have blueprints, if you'd care to study them.
I'll take your word for it.
You see, it's a small, complex computer built with these new circuit elements. With the knowledge contained within this library, think of what the machine can learn. It can be programmed with every known fact of science, economics, world history. A Papillon robot capable of absorbing knowledge like food, and with its electronic brain, incapable of a wrong decision.
And what is your end product? The perfect politician?
Exactly. Government by automation.
Sounds to me like an electronic dictatorship.
It is the only solution.
Well, I'd say that would be up to the voters. They might disagree.
Once we take delivery from Harachi of a mass-produced army of Papillon robots, it will only be a question of time.
Dr. Armstrong! Doctor, look!
Armstrong swung his chair round and followed the gaze of Benson towards the radar scanning screen. The 2 points of light had started to flash again. The small one was nearer the center of the screen, the larger one following behind.
About to enter the building, a friend of yours carrying the fountain pen, eh, Mr. Steed?
Maybe.
Well, it's an opportunity to demonstrate to you my radio-controlled Papillon. Whoever it is who is calling has a very nasty surprise awaiting them.
Mrs. Peel arrived and gained entrance to the main building quite easily. She used her punch card in the hall.
Enter the lift, please.
And she took the lift up.
Now, where the devil is Steed? How do I find him in a building as big as this?
Good question, Mrs. Peel. In the library, Armstrong had switched on the TV screens and was able to observe Mrs. Peel quite clearly.
What a charming young woman. I'm sorry she won't be joining us.
Armstrong reached out to a panel marked Lift on Control and pressed the Assembly Shop button. In the lift, Mrs. Peel was vaguely surprised when the lift glided to a stop and the doors opened. She stepped out into a huge room filled with crates and boxes, all filled with the various parts of the Papillon robot. Armstrong watched her progress with interest.
Very interesting. But the other robot geared to the transmitter should be with us soon. Yes. The closed-circuit TV is picking him up in the lift.
Steed watched with growing apprehension as the enormous figure of the Papillon robot filled the lift. It stopped at the assembly room floor, and the robot lumbered out, pursuing Mrs. Peel down the pathway between the crates.
I think you must agree, Mr. Steed, that the automated assassin was a stroke of genius. Loyal, obedient, and extremely efficient. Just how efficient, you'll be able to see for yourself at any moment.
Look here.
Don't move, Steve. Don't move. Just sit and watch.
Is this your idea of progress, Armstrong? Killing by robot?
I can allow nothing to stand in my way. My robots will prevent the ultimate catastrophe.
But at what price? A pabulum robot police state? People are not machines. Of course they're fallible. That's what makes them human.
While Steed was talking, he was working at the armrest of his chair. He remembered how Armstrong had demonstrated all kinds of gadgets that were worked by the buttons concealed in the arm. The security gates at the lifts, the airflow control, even piped music and extra furniture that rose from the floor. All these things were at Steed's fingertips as he raised the arm. With the flat of his hand, he pressed the whole lot at once. Steed ignored Armstrong, threw himself at Benson. The gun went off. Steed got a grip on Benson and threw him at the computer pad. Steed rushed for the lift. The doors opened automatically. Come on, Steed, you're cutting this one a bit fine. In the assembly shop, Emma stopped her investigations when she heard the familiar sound of the robot's footsteps.
Don't like the sound of that at all.
The robot approached. Mrs. Beale dodged, and the robot plunged its way through the crates, cutting a direct path towards her. Mrs. Beale reached into her pocket and withdrew an automatic pistol. As the enormous figure pushed crates and boxes out of its way, Mrs. Beale crouched down and then fired at point blank. The pabulum robot didn't pause, but continued relentlessly. Steed entered from the far side of the room.
Don't tackle it! It's a robot! Throw by your pen in your jacket pocket! Throw your pen right!
And approaching at Steed, caught the pen neatly. The robot swung round and now meant to attack him.
Steed, throw back the pen!
At that moment, Dr. Armstrong appeared in his chair, moved by the second maintenance robot. He made an adjustment to the controls, and the maintenance robot left him and went after Steed.
Watch it, Steed! You've got both of them on you now! Throw me the pen!
Go fair!
Steed had a far better idea. As the maintenance robot attacked and swung its arm in a vicious karate chop, Steed ducked under the blow and fixed the pen in the robot's overall pocket. Immediately, the first robot turned and attacked his fellow machine.
No! Stop! Stop them!
Armstrong, reacting with horror at the battle between the two robots, thrust his chair between them.
No! Stop!
Well, Armstrong always did say that human beings were fallible. He's just made his last mistake. Come on, Mr. Field, let's leave the machines to take over. They'll destroy all this quicker than we can. Come on, let's take a quiet ride home. A horse and cart, perhaps?
The Avengers.
Listen every evening, Monday to Friday, to John Steed and Emma Peel, The Avengers. Brought to you by the makers of Cold Water Omo. The Avengers. Donald Monat as John Steed and Diane Appleby as Emma Peel is adapted and directed by Dennis Falbig and produced by David Gooden.